After 3 years of drought, a metropolitan area of nearly 4 million faces tough choices. Cape Town, South Africa could become the world's first major city to run out of water. What they're calling Day Zero may be less than 3 months away.
Hashtags Day Zero and water crisis have been trending this week in reference to February the 1st, when taps in the Western Cape province are expected to run dry.
Cape Town is running out of water. 4 million people are staring down a historic water crisis as Cape Town looks to become the first major modern city to run dry. 6 dams around Cape Town supply a majority of the city's water. The already water-scarce region is well into a period of drought.
No water in Cape Town. One of the biggest cities in South Africa may soon be the first major city in the world to run out of water. Cape Town is facing a water crisis and has less than 100 days before Day Zero on April 21st, when the water supply is expected to run out.
And as soon as April 12th, a day that officials are calling Day Zero.
50,000 farm workers in the Western Cape were likely to be retrenched because of the drought.
Not since 9/11 has a city faced such a major crisis, and I think that is true. There is no example in the world where a major city has run out of water, and we have to do everything possible, everything, to prevent that eventuality.
The news we were seeing was contradictory and vague. In an effort to understand the water crisis, our documentary led us to even more confusion. Here is what we know. Each person is limited to 50 litres or less of water per day. This includes time spent at home, work, office, gym and public spaces. Day Zero is rapidly approaching. The date during the documentary filming was the 6th of April 2018. The date today is the 9th of July 2018. Johannesburg is on water restriction level 1 as of February the 1st. Here is what we've heard or seen in mainstream media. Claims of secret water sources on and in Table Mountain. Claims that the water crisis has been fabricated for political gain. Claims that Day Zero has been fabricated as a precautionary method. Claims about products like chocolate bars, cheese, coffee and cigarettes using large amounts of water. It has been our aim to bring clarity to the matter. It has been our aim to bring awareness to the matter. The water crisis is not just a Cape Townian crisis. It is a South African crisis. It is a humanitarian crisis. It is a global crisis. A crisis about how we treat our earth and its resources.
She's extraordinary, my jeans are torn. Her lips taste cherry, my eyes are worn. They said she'll run away, they said she'll run away from here. She's extraordinary, my jeans are torn. Her lips taste cherry, my eyes are worn. They said she'll run away, they said she'll run away.
My name is Kobus and I am the founder of Envy Lifestyle, which is a bespoke concierge service that's Cape Town based. and we focus on bespoke itineraries and more of a personalized approach to Airbnb hosting. I think it was probably a week ago, CNN aired a news segment on Cape Town, and basically what the news segment showed was that most services in Cape Town would lose water except for essential services such as hospitals and certain schools. They do take day zero to a sensationalist state where they say all water taps will be shut off in Cape Town except essential services, which is not true. Day zero will affect certain high usage neighborhoods, and those neighborhoods will be switched off. There are still neighborhoods that will have running water, and I do believe that the way CNN projected it was unfair towards Cape Tonians and unfair towards the local government. Some of it was in informal settlements. Some of the footage comes from natural springs out in Newlands, and they are correct in what they're saying, that the wall has been built to include taps for people to carry water from there and take water from there. But these are sites that are familiar to locals. But if you're not a local and you're watching this from your comfy home in New York or somewhere in Canada, you see this and you have a holiday plan to Cape Town in a couple of months' time. You've heard about the drought. It's a little bit of news there, a little bit of news there. Next moment, they're saying all water services will be cut off except to essential services. That's going to freak you out. So I woke up to my phone just going mad with cancellations, saying we want to cancel, we don't want to take natural resources, and it's frightening to have to wake up. It's a rude awakening on a Tuesday morning seeing this. It's scary, and you kind of have to manage your guests' expectations now more than ever.
We only started last week, so before last week there were no...
No, there were other...
Why is it so expensive? So much money.
So that's also why you...
The price for this location is 12 rand, not 30.
Yeah, we're hearing a lot of talk. Hey, this is the plan, that's the plan, but we're not seeing any action.
The one day you've got the mayor saying a well-run city will never run out of water, and the very next day she says if you residents don't stop using water as much as you are, there'll be no water left by December.
Wow, that was quite a bit to take in, I admit. Let's go through it. We managed to find out about a City of Cape Town water and sanitation hosted media outing in which attendees were chaperoned to 3 different locations, each related to alleviating the water crisis. The first site, a desalination outline, was situated in Strandfontein. We were informed by Councillor Xanthia Limburg that the site would be of a temporary nature and be modular by means of shipping containers. The site would generate about 2 megalitres or 2,000 litres of water when opening in March. Phase 2, which would be completed in May, would deliver 7 megalitres. The reason why it is temporary is because the ecological impact of such a plant would have on the environment. The second site, situated in Mitchell's Plain, was a recently drilled borehole which was in the stage of pumping water for testing flow, water quality and the likes. We were informed that the aquifer testing would continue for 72 hours, and once completed, and as a collective, the Mitchell's Plain region would bear approximately 80 megalitres of potable water to reticulate. The third site was an intelligent water pressure management site situated in the lush green gardens of Wynberg. The water pressure management system sits sealed in a concrete chamber below ground and are remotely controlled via IoT. These systems can reduce or increase the water pressure depending on the needs of the usage and are currently running under reduced pressure due to the water crisis. These water pressure management systems also have a great deal to do with being able to drastically reduce water wastage in terms of burst pipes or leaking pipes and taps by shutting the water off completely before a large amount of water is disposed. As for the green grasses, boreholes, according to Faruk Robertson, although also according to Faruk, are supposed to be metered, as the water being pumped from the boreholes still belongs to the City of Cape Town, as it contributes to the larger scale water table, which ultimately gets filtered and reticulated directly to your faucet. So that video with that South African Casey, no. Substituting borehole water for tap water is not a solution to save water. And one more thing, it does not take 196 litres of water to create one egg. Could do some more research before plugging one study and calling it a day, but that's a whole other video.
what restriction we're on? Well, we're on level, I think we're on level 3, I'm not sure, but...
Is there a blatant disrespect of water in Cape Town and in the world at large? One thing is for sure, civilians are confused, and all these little bits of information confuses them further. On the one hand, civilians are taking responsibility, but on the other hand, those messages are only going out to a privileged few who can afford to eat in restaurants and visit tourist sites.
So this is basically every day we come here to fetch water for us to make food, wash, and wash clothing.
Every day?
Every day, man.
Is the water drinkable?
Something that we did pick up was that the middle-class citizens seem to think that tourists should be socially responsible and cancel trips to Cape Town during this time. Many also think that it is the tourists who abuse water. Tourism is taking a dive as a result of the water crisis, which is to be expected. However, tourism contributes greatly to the Cape Town economy. Income generated from tourism is one of the reasons why the city is able to create more potable water and try to salvage the situation. Tourism is also a driving factor, and although the public may feel vulnerable and lashing out at tourists, industry leaders tell us a different story.
With each and every one of our guests that arrive in Cape Town, we do encourage them to save water. We provide a little leaflet that's printed by the City of Cape Town to ensure that they know about the water restrictions, what they should do and can do to save water. So we've been very, very lucky. A friend of mine works for the Water and Sanitation Department, who then provided me with the leaflets. And I took about 200 odd of them. And I ensure that we place them at every basin, every shower, on the fridge doors. Basically any faucet that water runs out of has a leaflet to ensure that guests know about the water shortages. And the last thing about it is that the front of the leaflet says this is a high water usage area, so people are aware of it. Most of the guests have been absolutely fantastic in the sense of, saying we are going to do our best to save water. And we've seen a massive decrease in the change of linen and how the guests treat linen, which is fantastic. So and I believe the tourists are a lot more conscious when it comes to the water saving. With most people that we've been in contact with, it's been a situation of they don't want to use vital resources that locals could use, whereas locals would much rather share something on social media going, oh yeah, this is what we should be doing to save water, but locals aren't really, doing what they can do or sticking to their 50 litres a day. So I think the tourists are a lot more conscious of their water usage versus the locals.
Here's the thing, humans are inept to talking about things like climate change because it makes it real. It's better to ignore it and continue in our ignorance. Understand, don't feel bad, it's human nature. We have seen this before when the ozone layer began to disintegrate. The good news is, When that happened, humanity rallied together to petition against the use of CFC gases and actually boycotted products that were directly causing this issue. We have the ability to do the same thing right now. In your own home, you have the opportunity to not only save water, but to change your relationship with it.
I think the most important part of this entire situation we find ourselves in with the drought is that the fact that South Africans must come to the realization as to what the true value of water is. It's not something to be dismissed about with. The fact that you have water available makes you fortunate.
Be open to discussions on the topic. We have to be able to communicate our beliefs with each other. In conversation, we are able to eliminate confusion through transparency. And familiarize yourself with what is really happening. We implore you to question your beliefs, look at the evidence, and base your decisions on responsible citizenship. If there's one thing that defines the era we live in, it is excess and waste. We have become entitled in believing that the Earth's resources are eternally ours to waste. We leave an imprint on the world, and our imprint isn't something that is going to magically disappear. We are seeing the impact of our waste right now. Is water going to be the next resource we fight wars over? Nothing of us, our behaviors and creations will go away, but water might if we continue the current relationship we have with it.